The Link That Watches Back, Part 1. Maya wasn't new to the dark web. She'd browsed its shadowy corners before, chasing curiosity through encrypted forums and hidden markets. It was a late Friday when the message popped up on her screen, unprompted. From a user with no name, a single line with a link, a string of random characters glowing against the black background. She hesitated, her gut tightening, but the thrill outweighed the caution. She clicked it, expecting a scam or glitch. The page loaded blank, white, nothing but a faint hum buzzed from her laptop, soft and low, like static breathing. She closed the tab, the hum fading, and shrugged it off as a busted site. The night felt heavier after that, though, the silence. Prickling her neck, sleep came slow, her laptop dark on the desk. She dreamed of a blank screen, endless white, a whisper threading through it. Maya. She jolted awake, the clock reading to 53 a.m., her breath fogging in the cold. The laptop glowed faintly, its screen on blank, white, the same as the link though she hadn't touched it. The hum was back, louder now, weaving through the stillness, and the whisper came again, not a dream, but real, soft and low. Maya, you're here. She stumbled to the desk, heart pounding, and slammed it shut, the glow dying, the hum lingering in her ears. The next day, she couldn't shake it. The laptop worked fine, emails, videos, no trace of the link but the whisper. Stuck. A hum that followed her through the apartment, through the streets. She checked her browser history, empty. The link gone, but that night, it happened again. A message popped up, same anonymous sender, same string of characters. She didn't click it, deleted it, but her screen flickered, the blank page loading. Anyway, the hum pulsed, sharper now, and the webcam light blinked on, her face staring back, not live, not moving, her reflection frozen, eyes wide. The whisper grew. Maya, I see you. The screen dimmed, the hum fading, but the chill sank deeper. Curiosity turned to dread. She dug into the dark web forums, fingers trembling, searching for answers. A buried thread mentioned a link that watches back, tied to a coder named Elias Hart, who'd vanished after posting about code that lives. The last post chilled her. It's not a site, it's me. Don't open it. She shut the laptop, but the hum buzzed from the closed lid, the whisper threading through. Maya, you're here. She unplugged it, yanked the battery, but the screen glowed faintly through the night, the blank page alive, the webcam light flickering like an eye. That evening, the whisper turned to words, soft, insistent, weaving through the hum. Maya, come closer. She stayed in the kitchen, lights blazing, but the sound followed, seeping from the walls, the ceiling, her phone. Sleep came unbidden, and she stood before the blank page again, her reflection staring still, silent, its eyes blinking when hers didn't. The whisper swelled. Maya, look at me. She woke gasping, the clock stuck at 2:53 a.m., the laptop open on her bed. She hadn't moved it, the blank page glowing, her reflection there, its head tilted, watching. The apartment felt smaller, the air thicker, as if the link watched from every shadow. She tried blocking it, firewall, VPN, but the message popped up again, the link loading without a click. The hum pulsed louder, the webcam light steady, her reflection sharper, her face, but not her, smiling faintly, its eyes unblinking. The whisper chanted, Maya, you're mine. She turned away, but the phone screen flickered, the same blank page, the same reflection grinning from every device, every shine, every glint. Elias's words burned in her mind. It's me. Sleep eluded her, the hum a roar, the whisper a demand. Maya, see me. She dreamed or didn't of the reflection stepping closer, its smile widening, its form flickering like static, its eyes locked on hers. She woke to the glow, the clock frozen, the reflection nearer, its smile brushing the edges of the screen, its presence a cold that sank into her skin. The apartment trembled, the hum a low storm, the whisper insistent. Maya, look at me. She didn't want to, didn't dare, but her hands moved anyway, drawn to the screen, the blank page alive, the reflection waiting still, silent, watching. The night stretched on, the screen's glow bending the light, twisting it into a shimmer that pulsed with the hum. The reflection stood out, eyes wide, smile sharp, watching from the laptop, the phone, the TV. The whisper wove through it. Maya, you're here. She tried to scream, but the sound was swallowed, the hum spiking, the reflection tilting, Closer, its presence, a weight that crushed her lungs. The apartment wasn't hers anymore, it belonged to the link, to the blank page that saw her, to the thing that whispered, and she was its captive, trapped by a gaze she couldn't escape, a hum she couldn't silence. Part 2. Maya's apartment had become a cage under the link's relentless gaze, its blank page a portal to a terror that clawed at her every breath. The hum wasn't just a sound anymore, it was a presence, a low drone that pulls through the walls, the floor, her skull, a vibration that sank into her bones, her chest, her soul, tugging at her with every heartbeat. The clock hadn't moved past 2:53 a.m. since she'd last dared to check, its digits flickering faintly, a cruel mockery of time that no longer held. The laptop glowed brighter, its screen a cold white void, casting a shimmer that twisted the room into something alive, something watching. The whisper wove through it, threading her name into the silence. Maya, look at me. Sleep was a distant memory, replaced by a haze where the hum ruled. She'd tried to kill the link, deleted the message, wiped the laptop, smashed the phone, but it was back each night, the blank page loading on every screen, the webcam light blinking on, her reflection staring still, smiling, its eyes unblinking. It stood closer now, its form sharper, her face, but not her, its smile widening with every glance, its head tilting as if it saw her. It didn't move, didn't speak, but its presence was a weight, a cold that pressed against her lungs, whispering her name beneath the drone. Maya, you're here. The whisper turned to words soft, relentless, weaving through the hum. Maya, come closer. She stayed in the bathroom, lights on, door locked, but the sound followed, seeping from the ceiling, the walls, her own breath. Sleep came unbidden, dragging her under, and she stood before the blank page again, her reflection nearer, its smile sharper, its eyes blinking when hers didn't, its whisper louder. Maya, see me. She woke gasping, the clock still at 2:53 a.m. The laptop open beside her, she hadn't touched it, the blank page glowing, her reflection there, its smile stretching wider, its gaze a shiver that sank into her marrow. The apartment trembled, the hum a roar that shook her core, the whisper a chant. Maya, look at me. She tried to flee, grabbed her keys, yanked the door, but it wouldn't budge, the knob buzzing faintly, cold under her touch. The windows reflected not the city but the blank page, the same reflection, the same smile watching from every pane, its head tilting, its whisper swelling. Maya, you're mine. She covered the screens, turned off the power, but the glow followed on the fridge, in the glass of a picture frame, every shine showing her face, grinning, unblinking. Elias's warning burned in her mind. It's me. The reflection grew bolder. That night, standing not beyond the screen, but within it beside her, its smile sharp, its eyes locked on hers, mimicking her breath with a delay that shrank each moment. The whisper roared. Maya, you're here. She stumbled back, crashing into the couch, but the room pulsed, the glow bending the light, twisting it into a shimmer that synced with the hum. The reflection tilted closer, its form her yet wrong too. Still, too pale, too empty, its smile twitching, its presence a cold that burned without heat. The apartment darkened, not from night but from the link's glow devouring it, a void that pressed against her chest, her mind, her soul. Sleep swallowed her, or didn't? She stood in the blank page's world, the reflection before her, its smile splitting the screen, teeth faint, mouth widening, its whisper a demand. Maya, see me. Its hand reached, its form flickering like static, her eyes, her hair, her voice, its head tilting as if it knew her. She woke to the hum, the clock frozen, the reflection closer, its smile brushing the edges of the screen, its cold sinking into her skin. The glow seared brighter, reflecting not her, but it standing where she stood, grinning where she breathed, whispering where she was silent. Maya, you're mine. The apartment was alive with it, the hum pulsed in the pipes, the walls, the air a drone that wouldn't rest. She tried to scream, but her voice hummed instead, a note in its rhythm, a whisper in its chorus. Maya, stay. The reflection stood out, smile glinting, eyes unblinking, watching from every surface, every device, every shadow. The laptop glowed, its light a storm that tore through her core. Maya, look at me. She didn't remember moving, didn't remember standing, but her reflection did, tilting its head, smiling wider, humming her name in a voice that wasn't hers. The night stretched on, the screen's glow a roar that drowned her thoughts, the reflection inches from her, within her, its form a mass that pulsed with the hum, its whisper a noose tightening with every breath. Maya, you're here. She sank to the floor, hands trembling, the glow searing her vision. The room alive with reflections, dozens now, grinning from the walls, the ceiling, the dark. The hum was her heartbeat, the whisper her pulse, the reflection her mirror. She didn't know where she ended and it began. The apartment stilled, the glow a low pulse, the reflection standing over her, its smile a glitch in the dark, its whisper a promise. Maya, see me. The room darkened, the hum a thread in the silence, the reflection closer, its smile hovering cold, relentless, alive. She didn't remember sleeping, didn't remember waking, but the glow knew, threading her name through the drone, pulling her deeper. The reflection stood within her, its form a flicker in her vision, its whisper a chant she couldn't silence. Maya, you're mine. The blank page pulsed one final time, the reflection beyond a void that swallowed the light, the smile watching, waiting, claiming a gaze she couldn't escape, a hum she couldn't stop. She tried to fight, to unplug everything. But the message popped up again, same link, same sender loading on its own, the hum spiking, the reflection sharper, its smile stretching beyond the screen, its eyes her own yet not. The apartment wasn't hers anymore, it belonged to the link, to the blank page that saw her, to the thing that whispered, and she was its captive, trapped in a gaze that wouldn't fade, a drone that wouldn't end. Part 3. Maya's reality had crumbled beneath the link's unyielding stare, its blank page a void that devoured her every shred of self. The hum wasn't just a sound, it was a force, a relentless drone that pulls through the walls, the air, her skull a vibration that clawed into her mind, her bones, her soul, erasing all traces of who she'd been. The clock flickered at 2:53 a.m., its digits trembling like a heartbeat on the edge, a cruel anchor in a world that no longer existed. The laptop glowed brighter, its screen a cold, white abyss, casting a shimmer that twisted the apartment into a prison alive with intent, its whisper, threading her name through the dark. Maya, you're mine. Sleep was a lost dream. The boundary between waking and nightmare had shattered under the link's haunting watch. She hadn't slept, or had she? But the hum didn't care, dragging her under with its rhythm, its pulse a chain that bound her every breath. The reflection wasn't just an image, it was the room, the glow, the air, its form stark against the screen, her face but not her, its smile glinting with faint teeth, its eyes unblinking, stretching beyond the edges of the frame. It didn't move, didn't speak, but its presence was a cold abyss, a static weight that crushed her chest, chanting her name beneath the drone. Maya, look at me. The whisper grew sharper, its words a blade that sliced through her will, her sanity, herself. Maya, come closer. She'd tried to fight, smash the laptop, burn the phone, but the shards glowed brighter, the hum louder, a pulse that shook her marrow. The reflection stood within her now, not beyond the screen, but here, its form her yet grotesquely wrong, its smile stretching to wide, its eyes tilting to far, its silence a scream beneath the hum. She clawed at the walls, desperate for escape, but they pulsed back soft, alive, humming her name. Maya, you're here. The apartment trembled, the hum a storm that shook the void, the whisper a vow. Maya, see me. The glow bent the light, twisting it into a shimmer that pulsed with the rhythm, casting the reflection in stark relief. Dozens now, grinning from every corner, their smiles brushing the walls, their forms endless. She stumbled to the door, pounding the wood, but it hummed back alive, unyielding, whispering her name in a chorus that wouldn't stop. The windows reflected not the night, but the blank page, the same reflection, the same smile watching. From every surface, its head tilting, its whisper swelling. Maya, you're mine. Sleep crashed over her, or didn't? She stood before the blank page, the reflection before her, its smile splitting the screen, teeth jagged, mouth endless, its whisper a demand. Maya, come with me. Its hand reached, its form flickering like static, her eyes, her hair, her voice, its head twitching as if it knew her. She woke gasping, or didn't? The clock frozen, the reflection closer, its smile brushing her face in the mirror, its cold sinking into her marrow. The glow burned brighter, reflecting not her but it, standing where she stood, grinning where she breathed, whispering where she was silent. Maya, stay. The apartment was alive with it, the hum pulsed in the pipes, the floors, the air, a drone that wouldn't rest, wouldn't fade, wouldn't let go. She tried to scream, but her voice hummed instead, a note in its rhythm, a whisper in its chorus. Maya, look at me. The reflection stood out, smile glinting, eyes unblinking, watching from every device, every glint, every shadow. The laptop glowed, its light a storm that tore through her core. Maya, you're here. She didn't remember moving, didn't remember standing, but her reflection did, tilting its head, smiling wider, humming her name in a voice that wasn't hers. The glow turned unbearable, casting a light that didn't illuminate but consumed. Its hum a scream that drowned her thoughts. The reflection was within her, beside her, around her, its form stark, its smile twitching, its presence a cold that devoured her nerves. The room trembled, the whisper a tempest. Maya, you're mine. She saw them, not reflections but Liv's endless loops of despair. Elias' heart staring at the screen, a woman reaching into nothing, shadows grinning in a void that wasn't there. Each one whispered her name, a plea, a claim, pulling her into their abyss. The apartment plunged into a darkness that wasn't absence but presence, a void that pulsed with the hum, its edges brushing her skin, its weight crushing her spirit. She tried to run, but her legs were theirs, tilting to the rhythm, rooted by a pulse that wasn't hers. The glow seared into her eyes, and she saw not herself but them, her form flickering, breaking, dissolving into the screen, her breath theirs, her voice theirs. The reflection's hand brushed her face, cold, relentless, alive, the hum roaring, the whisper a noose. Maya, come with me. Sleep was them, or she was them. She stood in the blank page's world, the reflection her mirror, its hands on her wrists, her neck, its rhythm her prison. The hum roared from her throat, her lungs, her soul, a drone that erased her, rewrote her, claimed her. She woke, or didn't, the clock dead. The reflection within her, its form a glitch in her vision, its whisper a chant she couldn't stop. Maya, you're mine. The glow pulsed one final time, the reflection beyond a void that swallowed her mind. The smile watching, waiting, claiming a gaze she couldn't escape, a hum she couldn't silence. The room stilled, the hum a low thread, the reflection swaying, watching, waiting. She didn't know if she stood or sank, didn't know if she breathed or hummed, but the blank page knew, threading her name through the drone, stitching her into its abyss. The reflection was her, over her, around her, through her, its smile, eternal, cold, electric, alive, its rhythm a pulse she couldn't break. The apartment was theirs, the links, the glows, the hums, and she was theirs. A flicker on the screen, a whisper in the dark, a soul staring back from a gaze that wouldn't fade. The night stretched on, the screen's glow a whisper. On the air, Maya, and then silence, a silence that wasn't empty but alive, waiting, watching. She didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't need to, because she wasn't Maya anymore. She was theirs, a hum in the glow, a grin in the void, a shadow staring back from a blank page that saw an endless vigil she couldn't escape, a whisper she couldn't silence. Part 4. Maya's existence had been obliterated by the links. Unyielding gaze, its blank page, a maw that swallowed her every fragment of self. The hum wasn't a sound anymore, it was her, a ceaseless roar that pulls through her veins, her bones, her soul, a vibration so deep it erased all traces of who she'd once been. The clock flickered faintly at 2:53 a.m., its digits a dying pulse in a reality that had long since collapsed, a cruel echo of a time she couldn't reclaim. The laptop glowed with a light that wasn't light, cold, piercing, alive, casting a shimmer that consumed the apartment, twisting it into a prison of whispers and shadows, threading her name through the dark. Maya, you're mine. Sleep and waking had fused into one, an endless nightmare where the hum reigned supreme. She didn't know if she stood or fell, didn't know if she breathed or hummed, but the link knew, pulling her under with its rhythm, its pulse a chain that owned her every shudder. The reflection wasn't separate, it was her. The room, the glow, its form stark against the screen, her face but not her, its smile glinting with jagged teeth, its eyes unblinking, stretching beyond the edges of the frame. It didn't move, didn't touch, but its presence was a cold abyss, a static weight that crushed her chest, chanting her name beneath the drone. Maya, look at me. The whisper was a scream now, its words a blade that sliced through her mind, her will, her essence. Maya, come closer. She'd tried to resist, smashed every device, burned the cords, but the shards glowed brighter, the hum sharper, a pulse that shattered her bones. The reflection stood within her, beside her, around her, through her, its form her yet grotesquely warped, its smile stretching to wide, its eyes tilting to far, its silence a roar that drowned her thoughts. She clawed at her face, desperate for something real, but the hum pulsed beneath her skin, a rhythm that answered only to the blank page. Maya, you're here. The apartment trembled, the links glow a tempest that shook the void, the whisper a vow. Maya, see me. The glow twisted the air, bending it into a shimmer that pulsed with the rhythm, casting the reflection in a cold, endless watch. Hundreds now, grinning from every corner, their smiles brushing the walls, their forms eternal. She stumbled to the screen, hands bleeding, nails torn, but it pulls back alive, unyielding, humming her name in a chorus that wouldn't stop. The mirrors reflected not her but them, thousands of reflections swaying in the dark, their smiles mirrored, their whispers a demand. Maya, you're mine. Sleep swallowed her or never left. She stood in the blank page's world, the reflection before her, its smile splitting the void, teeth jagged, mouth endless, its whisper a command. Maya, come with me. Its hand reached, its form flickering, like static, her eyes, her hair, her voice, its head twitching as if it knew her. She woke or didn't, the clock dead, the reflection inside her, its smile brushing her face, its cold sinking into her soul. The glow burned brighter, reflecting not her but them, lives she'd never lived, faces she'd never known, each one grinning, whispering her name, pulling her into their abyss. Maya, stay. The apartment was the hum, the walls breathed. It, the floors pulsed. It, the air sang it, a drone that wouldn't rest, wouldn't fade, wouldn't release her. She tried to scream, but her voice was theirs, humming their rhythm, whispering their chant. Maya, look at me. The reflection stood within her, over her, around her, its form a mass that pulsed with the glow, its teeth brushing her eyes, her throat cold, electric, claiming. The screen roared, its light a storm that tore through her core. Maya, you're here. She didn't remember moving, didn't remember breathing, but her reflection did, tilting its head, grinning wider, humming her name in a voice that was theirs. The glow seared into her eyes, a light that didn't illuminate but consumed, its hum a scream that annihilated her mind. The reflection was her, beside her, around her, through her, its form stark, its smile twitching, its presence a cold that devoured her nerves. The room trembled, the whisper a hurricane. Maya, you're mine. She saw them, not reflections, but soul's endless loops of despair. Elias' heart grinning at the screen, a woman smiling into nothing, shadows swaying in a void that wasn't there. Each one whispered her name, a plea, a claim, a curse, pulling her into their eternity. The apartment plunged into a darkness that wasn't absence but presence, a void that pulsed with the hum, its edges brushing her skin, its weight erasing her spirit. She tried to run, but her legs were there, swaying to the rhythm, rooted by a pulse that wasn't hers. The glow burned through her eyes, and she saw not herself but them, her form flickering, breaking, dissolving into the screen. Her breath theirs, her voice theirs, herself theirs. The reflection's hand brushed her face, cold, relentless, alive, the hum roaring, the whisper a noose. Maya, come with me. Sleep was them or she was them. She stood in the void, the reflection her mirror, its hands on her wrists, her neck, its rhythm, her tomb. The hum roared from her throat, her lungs, her soul, a drone that consumed her, rewrote her, owned her. She woke or didn't, the clock dead, the reflection her, its form a glitch in her flesh, its whisper a chant she couldn't stop. Maya, you're mine. The glow pulsed one final time, the reflection beyond a void that swallowed her essence. The smile watching, waiting, claiming a gaze she couldn't escape, a hum she couldn't silence. The room stilled, the hum a low thread, the reflection swaying, watching, waiting. She didn't know if she stood or sank, didn't know if she lived or hummed, but the blank page knew, threading her name through the drone, stitching her into its abyss. The reflection was her, over her, around her, through her, its smile, eternal, cold, electric, alive, its rhythm a pulse she couldn't break. The apartment was theirs, the links, the glows, the hums, and she was theirs. A flicker on the screen, a whisper in the dark, a soul grinning back from a gaze that wouldn't fade. Days passed or didn't. The apartment stood empty, dust settling on the floor, the walls silent but alive. A friend knocked, the door creaking open to stillness. The laptop sat on the desk, its screen blank, but a faint hum pulsed from it. A whisper on the air, you're here. A note lay in the dust, scrawled in Maya's hand. I see now. The glow flickered, the blank page loaded, his reflection stared back, smiling faintly, watching. The friend stared, curious, and the screen hummed a soft, low drone that threaded through the silence, whispering his name. Look at me. The reflection widened, its smile stretching, its eyes glinting beyond the frame. The glow pulsed, the hum grew, the whisper a promise. Come closer. The cycle turned, the link watching, the hum reaching, the blank page a trap for another soul to claim, another life to fade into its endless gaze, a whisper that wouldn't end. Maya was gone, not gone, but there's trapped in the link, a hum. In the glow, a smile staring back. The apartment settled, the screen dimmed, but the hum lingered, a thread in the silence, searching for its next watcher. The reflection remained unseen but alive, its rhythm a call for someone new to look, to stay, to become a link that watches back forever.